Hi, I'm Dan. This is At Midlife Crisis Motorcyclist, and this is, of course, a Harley-Davidson. But it's not any old Harley-Davidson, no. This is the first one I have ever ridden, and I've got absolutely no idea what to expect. Is it going to be absolutely terrible? Is it going to be a right laugh? Is it going to be both at the same time? Well, stay tuned and I'll let you know. But while I might not know a huge amount about Harleys, I do understand some of the stereotypes around them, and the fact that to other bikers, turning up on one of these is like walking into a English village pub with a big Stetson on, and that they can't go around corners, they're mechanically very crude, and the target audience tends to be gentlemen of a certain age with wispy little grey goatee beards and stars and stripes bandanas at a time when America's public image is perhaps not at its highest point. But then on the flip side, maybe Harley-Davidson is all that is good about America after all. You know, the big portions, the sort of sense of fun, not taking yourself too seriously, dreams of the open road, all that kind of thing. We'll ponder on that, but the bike itself that I have here is a Heritage Softail. That comes from Harley-Davidson's classic lineup alongside Street Bobs, Fat Boys, Breakouts, things like that. And to the uneducated eye, which is to say mine, it looks very much like what I imagine a Harley-Davidson to be, and it seems to strike a nice middle ground between the sort of the stripped back cruisers and then the big kind of heavyweight touring bikes, the full dress ones, the baggers, things like that. Of course, being a Harley-Davidson, there's a big engine at the heart of it. The one on this one is the Milwaukee Eight 117, the cubic capacity measured in good old American cubic inches and none of your communist cubic centimetres, although for the record it does equate to 1923cc, which is a lot of engine for a relatively lazy sounding 93 horsepower, isn't it? There are spicier versions of this engine, but of course a Harley is all about the torque, isn't it? And of course providing a visual centerpiece for the bike, which it does very well. It looks absolutely fantastic, this engine, doesn't it? Although when you start studying it a bit closer, you realise that the big impressive 2-into-1 exhaust is actually just a trim piece in front of the actual exhaust system and the catalytic converters behind it. Should I be worried that a bike weighing over 300 kilos has only got a single brake disc on the front? Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? Hopefully not the hard way, but there are at least electronics on this bike as well, despite the classic look. So it's got proper cornering ABS and traction control, things like that. In terms of the cost, well, the Heritage Softail starts at just over 24 grand, to which you can add another 1,100 quid for the Whiskey Fire and vivid black paint that you see here. That is a lot of money, isn't it? But it is a lot of bike. Possibly too much? Well, let's go and find out. Right, so welcome to a midlife crisis motorcyclist's first go on a Harley-Davidson, and as you can see, I am very much not in Arizona or California riding across the desert easy rider style. No, this is very definitely autumnal England, but I guess that kind of fits with the whole how does it work as a fish out of water, out of its comfort zone. Yeah, is it just the wrong bike in the wrong country, or can it prove to be a bit of fun as well? Well, I'm honestly interested to find out. I come to this with an open mind. I know a lot of people hate Harleys and all they stand for, but really, I'm just keen to find out what it's actually like to ride one of these things. And first impressions are that, well, it's big. There's a surprise, eh? Harley-Davidson turns out to be on the large side, but it feels honestly like it's been designed for a human about 1.5 times bigger than me, which is no coincidence, because it probably was, wasn't it? So, but you just get that in everything, from the girth of the grips to the how far away the handlebars feel, the width of the tank, everything just feels enormous. on this bike, because it is enormous. So can it make any sense whatsoever on one of Yorkshire's classic sports bike roads? Well, as you would expect and hope, the engine is absolutely heart and soul of the bike and really dominates the riding experience. It's great. It's not as noisy as I'd hoped. I guess modern noise regs have strangled it a bit, and I guess you could sort that out with some aftermarket pipes or something like that, but it is spectacular. Even in this, guys, it sounds pretty decent. And what I'm surprised by as well is that this Milwaukee 8, it's a 4-valve engine, it actually feels quite revvy. I mean, it's done by about 5,000 revs. It's no Honda, but actually when you rev it out, there's something there to go hunting for, and then the rest of the time you can just leave it in 4th or 5th and just ride the torque, which is lovely. It's obviously a very different riding experience from most other motorbikes where you're chasing revs and all that kind of thing. So yeah, the engine's got character. It's fast enough for the bike. Obviously it's carrying a lot of weight, but it's entertaining. All the interactions with it are suitably agricultural, literally. I've driven old tractors with more sophisticated feeling gear changes than this, but that kind of suits the bike again, so clunk. But yeah, you don't mind, because it's part of the experience. It's certainly no GS. No, you haven't got active suspension or radar cruise or anything like that. It's kind of back to basics, but in quite a nice way. And in terms of the handling, well, look at this. We're on a nice twisty English B road, and sure, it feels heavy, and there's a lot of bikes hustle around the corners, but it's not actually disgracing itself by any stretch. I mean, obviously anyone on a sports bike is going to come flying past me, but even on a damp autumnal day like this, yeah, I'm not exactly flinging it around, but it doesn't feel like the great big unwieldy lump of American iron that I sort of expected, that the stereotypes would suggest. Yeah, I mean, you've got to take it steady. You kind of ease it into the corner. You don't stand it on its nose. In fact, the distance you are from the front wheel means you've got very little sense of how much grip there is at the front, so that's not exactly confidence inspiring. But you learn to kind of sit back, get your feet on the boards, and just kind of let it go with the flow. And I'm really pleasantly surprised at how enjoyable it is. Even the suspension's half decent. I don't think there's a lot of travel. I've not been able to ascertain from the spec sheet exactly how much there is, but yeah, it swallows the bumps really quite well for such a low slung bike. So again, it's not sophisticated. There's no fancy damping, there's no adjustable this, tweakable that, but nor does it kind of pile drive your spine the way you might fear when you go over a pothole or a bump or something like that. So I mean, this is not the weather or the scenery you would associate with a Harley, but you know what, I am enjoying myself all the same, because it's an experience, and that's kind of what you want out of a motorbike, isn't it? You want a reason to get out of bed early, like I did this morning, to go and ride just for the sheer hell of it. And I think I can understand now why Harley fans do that. And are willing to spend so much for the privilege. Oh, watch out, pheasant. That was nearly Sunday lunch sorted. Are there limitations? Oh, you bet there are. The braking is pretty shocking, as you'd expect, given the weight and the size of that single brake disc at the front. I find myself using the rear brake a lot more, a bit like when I'm riding a Royal Enfield. And it's got this comedically big brake pedal, like a car brake pedal, over on the right. So yeah, I mean, it's fine when you're just bimbling along like this, but there's been a couple of times when I've had to slam on the anchors for things and it really doesn't feel like it's going to stop at all. So, you know, look ahead, look into the distance, read the road. Don't try and rush it. But yeah, dynamically, it's a surprise, and just riding around on it, it's been huge fun as well. It's everything I expected of a Harley. It's big, heavy, unwieldy, crude, all that kind of stuff. But you know what? It's also a load of fun. And that's quite a refreshing change in a very serious world. So you know what? I'll take that. So there you go, there's a bit of a newbie's perspective on riding a Harley-Davidson from the point of view of someone who's never even sat on one before, and it was really, really interesting. Now, at the start of this video, I really didn't think I was going to like it. It seemed very crude, it's expensive, there's all those weird kind of image associations that you have with them, and the conditions I've been riding in today are about as far away from the idealised, you know, long vanishing point desert roads and burning sunshine, truck stops and all that kind of thing as you could imagine. You know, here I am in autumnal Yorkshire on a greasy road on a really wet, foggy day. But even so, I did actually quite enjoy it. I think I surprised myself actually. It was a lot more fun than I expected. I expected just to be annoyed by the weight, by how crude it is, all that kind of stuff. But actually that just fades into the background and you just kind of, you enjoy the ridiculousness of it, of the torque, just the kind of the lazy power delivery, all that kind of thing. It actually turned out to be a lot of fun and more appropriate on these roads than I ever expected. I mean, sure, it's very, very heavy, the brakes aren't brilliant, and it's very expensive as well, all that kind of stuff. So by any logical frame of reference, it's a pretty terrible motorbike. But then, as I was saying on the Onboard, motorbikes are about more than just cold, hard logic, aren't they? And I think perhaps against expectation, this bike won me over a lot more than I'd expected. So yeah, am I a Harley guy? I'm not sure. I don't think I'd be spending 25 grand on one like this, but in a scenario where I had a big garage or unit or something like that, and you know, some limitless funds and things like that, alongside other bikes, I could see there might be a Harley-Davidson in there, perhaps a little bit more stripped back and basic, because let's face it, they are basic, so you may as well just celebrate the fact. And yeah, I think something stripped back with a, you know, loud cans on it, all that kind of thing, I think that would be quite a fun thing to have in the collection. You probably wouldn't take it out every day or use it a whole lot, but to have it there and have it there for the right day and when you just felt like going for a bit of a cruise, yeah, I think I could potentially see me having one in that context, but it would be at the back of quite a long queue of other bikes before I got there. But what do you think? Do you ride a Harley? Have you ever ridden one? What did you think? Did it live up to expectations, or was it absolutely terrible? I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Would you ever conceive of owning one? Let's have a chat about it in the comments thread below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit like. If you're not a subscriber already, please sign up. That would be great. And in the meantime, I'll say goodbye, thanks for watching, and ride safe.